Hi there.
Hello.
So, welcome everyone. Um, we're excited for you to join us for our master class called Understanding Your Hormones that my good friend Janice Marto and I will be offering tonight. So, we'll get into a brief introduction from each of us, and then we're going to jump right into the materials because we've got a lot of really great information for you tonight, and we want to make sure that we cover everything. So I'm Kat Ogar. I'm the owner of Infinite Health and Wellness, and I've been in the wellness field for over a decade. And I've had my own share of health issues. I've been dealing with cortisol imbalance, and that's a bit of a rocky road. I've had gut health issues, which are starting to fall back in line. If you know my story at all, you know that I have been dealing with anxiety and panic disorder since my early 20s, and more recently had a diagnosis of thyroid dysfunction as a result of some of my other hormones being out of balance. But I've been working on everything, and I'm happy to say that I'm moving in the right direction, making some changes to my diet, physical activity, which I don't mind doing, but it tends to fall off the list of things to do pretty quickly. So I've been um, more religious about that and enjoying that. And I've certainly added in a whole lot more self-care, because one thing that I find is that I can get lost in my work, which I love, but I do need time for myself and my family and for fun, as do every one of you. And Janice, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. I'm Janice Marto, owner of Nourish Whole Self. And I've had my health issues as well, such as hormonal imbalances. I've been a migraine sufferer for most of my life, which some of you may know that if you follow me on my Facebook page. Liver issues. I've even had an avocado-sized tumor removed from the inside of my liver. And I still have a few more tumors inside my liver now. We're just keeping an eye on them. But they're all genetic and environmental causes. Pituitary brain tumor. I have gut health issues as well. And also thyroid dysfunction. But I've been able to improve my conditions dramatically by changing my diet and daily self-care, and also getting back into a lot of physical activities such as yoga and Pilates. I'm even working towards a yoga teacher certification starting in October. So that's how dedicated I am to more physical activity in my life. But we want to share all this knowledge with you, how we've overcome a lot of our issues. And I know that you're trying to figure out how to overcome yours as well. So we're here to help share with you some of those things that help. Back in '95, I graduated from the American Intercontinental University with a BFA. And 2012, completed my certification from Institute for Integrative Nutrition. In 2015, at Life University in their dietetic program. And in 2017, the Functional Nutrition Lab. And currently, I'm currently studying at the School for Applied Functional Medicine.
Nice. And so you can see that we have very similar backgrounds. I find it interesting that we both got our undergraduate degrees in the same year. And I got mine from Northeastern University. And then in 1998, I studied at the Renaissance Institute of Classical Homeopathy. From there, I took a little break, but then went back to it, and I became a shiatsu practitioner, also known as an Asian bodywork therapist with a foundation in traditional Chinese medicine. And then in 2008, I went to the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, and right now I'm currently enrolled in the Trinity School of Natural Health. So what to expect? We have a lot of really juicy content for you tonight. And so these are the topics that we're going to be going over. We're going to introduce you to the top 8 female hormones so that you can understand what they do when they're functioning properly and what happens when they're not. We'll talk about symptoms, and maybe it's your hormones. Maybe there's a reason you're feeling the way you're feeling or doing something you're doing due to an hormonal imbalance. We're going to talk about the difference between being a man and a woman. And then we'll also have ways to prevent and treat hormonal imbalances, and we'll focus on your hormonal health and things that you can do right away to get yourself started.
And here we go. Hormones are extremely important chemical messengers that affect many aspects of your overall health. The hormones made by our endocrine system are like a symphony. They have to play in tune for a person to be healthy. And when there's an imbalance in one hormone, the others follow suit. Hormones affect every tissue and organ in the body. They impact everything from gut function, muscle growth and recovery, bone health, and brain function. When hormones get out of whack, there can be far-reaching consequences in terms of symptoms and effects. Understanding the roles and proper function of hormones will provide you with the context for what's going on when there is an imbalance. There are 8 major hormones, like Kat mentioned, that we're going to be going over tonight that can tip the physiological scales for women: estrogen, progesterone, cortisol, thyroid, pregnenolone, testosterone, DHEA, androstenedione is the last one, which is a tongue twister. But remember, your hormones affect you on a physical and emotional level. So we're going to go into detail on each of those hormones for you right now.
That's right. So we're going to start with estrogen. Estrogen is a feel-good hormone. It's mainly produced in the ovaries, but that does change as we age, and especially as you hit perimenopause and menopause. And then it will come exclusively from the adrenal glands and fat cells, which means it's reduced. And that's part of the reason why we can sometimes be out of balance just through nature. It's a feminine hormone, so it gives us the softness of our features that is associated with feminism and women in general. And men do have estrogen, but it's typically much less than women. It's in smaller amounts. And it also plays a role in regulating some systems in our body. So cholesterol, urinary tract, the heart, blood vessels, bones, breast health, skin, hair, mucous membranes, pelvic muscles, and it also plays a pretty big role in brain health and function. So that's a lot of stuff to cover, right, for one hormone. Progesterone is a sister hormone to estrogen. They kind of go hand in hand. And this is the hormone that keeps us calm. So the phrase that we like to use for this one is keep calm and carry on, because it has the ability to soothe our nervous system. So when we're feeling stressed out and we're trying to calm ourselves down, progesterone is the hormone that allows us to do that. And if you're having a tough time calming down, maybe even worse than it's ever been, you're noticing you don't handle things as well as you used to, this hormone may be out of balance for you. Progesterone is primarily known as the pregnancy hormone. It's what fertilizes, it triggers the endometrial lining to thicken and house and fertilize the egg. And its other roles, there's a little bit of an overlap in the systems that this covers to estrogen, but this one tends to be more on the emotional level. I mean, there are a few overlaps, but it works on our nervous system, as mentioned, but also to help maintain our healthy brain function, mood regulation. That's really important and critical for us to feel healthy, is to not be too moody or flying off the handle. And it plays a role in easing anxiety. So if you're an anxious person by nature, this might be another one to hone in on for you. Helps facilitate memory, promote healthy sleep, which is critical, and we'll get into that on another slide, and relaxation. The next hormone is cortisol, and this is a fight or flight hormone. It's a stress hormone. Cortisol is excreted from the adrenal glands, and they're small glands about the size of a walnut that sit on top of the kidneys. So they're central to the whole body. And essentially, they're in charge of our, like I mentioned, fight or flight system. So it helps with our physical, emotional, and mental well-being. So if we need it for getting things moving, that's what it's there for. However, it can overreact and make us do the exact opposite, put us in that fight or flight where we're always feeling uptight and anxious and have to move. So if you're the type of person that can't sit still and you're on vacation and you can't get comfortable, this one might be one to look out for you. Its main roles include mobilizing energy from storage sites. So basically it's pulling energy from the body in order to get us moving. Reduces inflammation and allergies. You're going to hear a lot about inflammation during this talk and the different things that you can do to alleviate that. Prevents loss of sodium in the urine, so that helps us maintain blood volume and blood pressure, a healthy blood pressure, and it's a mood and emotional stabilizer.
And the liver. The liver gland produces two main hormones, which we can refer to them simply as T3 and T4. The T3 is the active form of the thyroid hormone T4. The body does make a little bit of T3 on its own, but about 80% of this active thyroid hormone needs to be converted from T4 to T3. T3 plays a major role in regulating the body's metabolism, heart function, digestion, muscle control, brain development, and bone maintenance. In other words, T3 helps your body stay slender and helps prevent brain fog and keeps you feeling happy and in those good moods that we need to be in. But you just got to love that T3 because it's really, really very important for your overall thyroid health. Pregnenolone is known for being the master hormone, the precursor from which almost all other steroid hormones are made, including progesterone, testosterone, and the estrogens, DHEA, and cortisol. Pregnenolone improves sleep quality and reduces symptoms of PMS and menopause and improves your overall immunity. Testosterone is not just a male hormone. Women also have this vital hormone, although in smaller amounts than men, and it is key to a woman's overall health and well-being. When a woman's testosterone levels are low, almost everything in your body suffers. Testosterone affects mood, libido, energy, and the accumulation of body fat, as well as mental acuity. This hormone is produced in small amounts in females and may drop dramatically during the monthly cycle.
And then we have DHEA. So this is a hormone that's kind of known as the fountain of youth hormone. It does peak during our mid-20s and will decline with age, but that doesn't mean we can't do things to kind of bolster it up and support it. The main thing you want to know about this particular hormone is that it's really helpful in alleviating depression, obesity, and adrenal insufficiency. So getting back to those adrenal glands that we talked about that sit on top of the kidneys. We don't want them to be tired and drained because a lot of things go out of whack when that happens. The other thing to know is that it also reduces, in addition to being helpful for obesity, it reduces abdominal fat. So that tire around the middle that sometimes we can't get rid of no matter how many sit-ups we do. It's helpful in insulin resistance. You want to keep your blood sugar levels pretty steady. Here's that inflammation again, reduces inflammation, decreases the chance of heart disease, improves libido, and improves symptoms of depression, as I mentioned already. And the other thing is more of this isn't always better. So if you're supplementing with this or you're thinking of supplementing with it, maybe get a test done to see what your actual levels are, because it is a male hormone. It's an androgen. So you don't want too much of it. Otherwise, you may end up with some aggressive behavior. You might end up with adult acne and then unwanted hair growth, typically on the arms and the face. So those are things that we as women don't want. And then this one, which as Janice said, is a tongue twister, androstenedione. I got it right finally. Known as andro for short. So this is a steroid hormone, and its effects are on estrogen and testosterone. So 50% of a woman's testosterone comes from the conversion of DHEA, which we just talked about, and androstenedione in our adipose tissue. So in females, it's released from our adrenal glands and the ovaries into the bloodstream, and does get a little help from the hypothalamus and pituitary glands. And then it's converted into testosterone and estrogen, which are hormones that we need in order to feel energized and healthy and vital.
So maybe it's your hormones causing your issues that you're having or you're suffering from. But both men and women are highly responsive to the hormones. They have to be. However, hormonal release or lack of it, or altered ratios of hormone balance, often incurs a degree of unwanted reactions, which can be physical, emotional, or both. Although men and women are both necessarily subject to the effects of hormones, females are more regularly and powerfully impacted due to the influence of their monthly cycle. Being a woman means having a baby designed to conceive and nurture a child. Whether this option occurs doesn't matter. Every month is a cycle of preparedness and readiness for that event. Because this relates to half the human population, generalizations are unavoidable, and of course, every woman is different. However, it's certainly true that most or all are affected at some stage, through the range and degree of effects may differ. Almost every woman has felt irrational or over-emotional at some stage, or recognized it as such afterwards. You know, it's just like when the men say we're going through the change or something. You know, we just hate that. I mean, we all go through these different emotions, roller coaster emotions all the time. And, you know, we can control that if we know how to, which is what we're here to help you with. But take some comfort in knowing that there is a very rational and normal explanation for your emotional highs and lows. And we'll get into that a little later on.
So signs of hormonal imbalances, and I would imagine everyone who's watching this recognizes at least one and probably more that you've been affected by. So it does have a lot to do with our cycle, infertility and irregular periods. Also menopause, the menopausal symptoms like hot flashes and night sweats, those types of things. Weight gain or weight loss. Typically weight loss would be, it would be an unexplained weight loss, not due to a change in diet. So if that's happening to you, you may want to look into this as well. As has been mentioned a little bit earlier, depression and anxiety are pretty common. Fatigue, and this is a big one because a lot of women just ignore their tiredness because we're busy. And sometimes that tiredness is due to the fact that we're overextending ourselves, but sometimes it's due to the fact that the hormones are going out of balance, which quite honestly happens because we're overscheduled. Insomnia, another one. Sleep is critical for overall wellness and health, mainly because the body heals when you're resting and sleeping. Low libido, that's one that a lot of people we're told. It's kind of like an old tale that we're told that's been passed on for generations, that as you age, your libido tends to wane. And quite honestly, that's not true. The reason why people have low libido, and specifically women that we're talking about here, is because their hormones are not functioning properly. Digestive issues, we're going to get into that a little bit more coming up. Hair loss and hair thinning. This one tends to be a real eye-opener for most women because we spend a lot of time and money and money on products and salons to make our hair look really pretty. It's one of the things that I think most of us are kind of just do as part of our daily routine. And when our hair looks good, we feel good, you know, all those things that make us feel a little bit better. And when you start losing your hair, then that's a really good time to start looking at what's going on with your hormones. We already talked about hot flashes and cravings for sugar and or salt. So you may have one or the other or both. And then causes of hormonal imbalances. Some of the things that contribute to it are blood sugar imbalances. So if you're eating a lot of foods on the go or processed foods, you know, you're grab and go with things, maybe you're stopping at the local coffee shop and getting a pastry or a donut, that's gonna spike your blood sugar and then have it plummet shortly thereafter. So those are things that are gonna throw your hormones out of whack. Poor gut health, inflammation, is that word again, caused by poor diet and sedentary lifestyle. I mean, a lot of us have jobs where we're sitting most of the day, and then when we get home, we're kind of tired, so we do more sitting, usually watching television. So we need to get up and start moving. High amounts of stress, which we all have, lack of sleep and rest, as was already mentioned. Genetics can be a cause of hormonal imbalance, but it doesn't have to be. You can control this with some of the tips that we'll share with you that are coming up. Aging, that is going to happen as we age. Things will shift and change, but again, we can do things to bolster ourselves up so that we can mitigate that, as well as toxicity. So the things that we bring into our home, the cleaners, things we wash our face with, what we wash our clothes with, and we have another slide on that, which I think Janice is going to give us a little bit more detail on that.
Yes. Natural ways to prevent hormonal imbalances. Watch your caffeine intake. I know a lot of us, and I'm one of them. I love my coffee in the morning, but I cut it off. I don't drink any more coffee past 10 o'clock. So that's the key. If you want to drink your coffee, that's fine, but limit it, as well as your other caffeinated beverages like regular tea. A cup of coffee a day can be beneficial, as coffee contains antioxidants. However, too much caffeine can adversely affect your endocrine system, which is responsible for much of your hormone production and release. So again, just remember that. Cut it off at 10 a.m. Don't have caffeine in the afternoon. Switch over to a nice cup of green tea in the afternoon. But look and make sure that when you buy tea, that it's caffeine free. Get plenty of good quality sleep. Sleep alone can have incredible positive effects on balancing your hormones. Disrupted sleep patterns will trigger stress, hormones, depleting your adrenals, as we've already discussed, and setting off a chain of hormone imbalances. One of the things that I started doing maybe about 5 years ago, I cut off my computer. I shut it down at 10 o'clock at night. I try not to look at my phone. I put my phone before I go to bed on the counter in the bathroom. I don't want it next to my head while I'm trying to sleep. I also drink a cup of chamomile lavender tea at night while I'm getting ready for bed as well. And it just kind of helps soothe me and relaxes me. And diffusing lavender oil next to my bed makes my whole bedroom smell like a nice, relaxing spa as well. You can also rub magnesium oil or lotion on your legs, and you can put lavender essential oil on the bottom of your feet, which those all work for me. So you may want to consider giving those a try.
Another thing you can do is increase your dietary omega-3s. So we need healthy fats in order for a lot of these processes to work properly, and which includes the production of our hormones and then the rebuilding of our cells. And because of the typical diet that we have, especially in the United States, but certainly outside of it as well, we're seeing a lot of consumption of omega-6. So that's going to be in a lot of your junk foods. It's the polyunsaturated fats. And then we have a decrease in omega-3 fats. And omega-3s are really great because they help with cholesterol, inflammation. They have so many health promoting properties. And I did have a question from someone about, they had been recommended by someone they knew, actually it was their corporate office where they work, about omega-3, 6, and 9. And the thing with that is we don't really want to add any more of the sixes in, so that kind of negates that right there. But then also we can get 9 in a lot of foods. So in a lot of the foods that we're going to be sharing with you coming up. So if that was a question for you too, I hope that helps answer it. So some of the ways that you can get omega-3s is through fish, oily fishes like salmon and sardines. Then we have the flaxseed and chia seeds that also boost omega-3 intakes. So try some of those things and see if you start to have a shift. And then take up some low impact exercise. And we're specifically saying low impact because it tends to support hormonal balance. Intense exercise can actually throw your hormones out of whack, mostly because, and especially in the case of if you're a runner and you love to run, I'm not saying give that up, but maybe fill in with some other things that are low impact, like yoga, Pilates, swimming, walking, because when you're running and some of these high impact exercises, you're releasing cortisol. And typically that's a major issue for most people because we're using too much of it already and it's floating in our system. We don't want to add to that. So if you can do some of these activities, find one that you love, and it will help to promote relaxation, and you'll have a lot less stress on your body and in your life.
And add coconut oil to your diet. I don't know if you've already started doing that, but it's very important to do that because it also helps with your brain function. It helps with your skin, your hair, your nails. There's so many things. But coconut oil can also aid in weight loss and produce hormones and reduce inflammation in your body, which we keep talking about inflammation, right, Kat?
Mm-hmm.
But for better hormone health, find ways to add coconut oil into your diet every single day. I love to roast my vegetables in it. I will take a piece of salmon or any other good fish and put it in parchment paper, and I will pour a little bit of coconut oil in there and sprinkle some herbs and spices and lemon slices, and oh my gosh, it is delicious. I mean, it's a great way to incorporate that. Also, maybe switch out your regular milk to coconut milk, which I love, and then also coconut yogurt. You can also add coconut oil to your smoothies every day. Scrambled eggs. I mean, it's just endless what you can do with coconut oil. So there's no excuse for trying to add it into your diet.
And I was thinking of you this morning because I made scrambled eggs and I did use coconut oil.
Very good. You get an A+ for the day.
Okay, and is this one?
That's mine.
Oh yeah, you go for it.
You also want to increase your levels of magnesium and vitamin D. Magnesium helps promote sleep, which I talked about before when we were talking about the sleep, and it allows for the muscles to relax, which is crucial for achieving better hormonal health. Dark leafy green vegetables, pumpkin seeds, squash, and halibut can be rich sources of magnesium as well. But I take a magnesium supplement as well because my magnesium levels are pretty low, even though I do eat a very healthy diet. But using the lotion on your legs or some of the oil on your legs, it gets absorbed directly into your body right away. Sun exposure is also very vital for your hormone health. Early morning sun exposure allows your body to absorb vitamin D. I walk my dogs early in the morning, and that's how I get mine, or I walk in my garden and sort of get lost pulling weeds and tending my flower beds and herb gardens. So that's another way to get it naturally. But again, if you can't get enough sun, vitamin D supplements may prove very beneficial for you.
So your hormonal health. So these are some of the foods that you can eat that will help rebalance your hormones, and they're good for both men and women. And right at the top is avocado, which is a superfood. That's a great one to add in. There's a lot you can do with it. You can add it to smoothies. You can have it in a salad. The big thing now is to, toast a piece of, healthy toast, like a gluten-free toast or Ezekiel bread, and add the avocado right to it, and certainly anything else you want to add to it. Eggs are the perfect food, so you definitely want to include those once or twice a week at least. Figs and dates are great because not only are they helping rebalance your hormones, but you get a little sweet treat without having to feel guilty. And we've got maca, which is a Peruvian herb, a root actually, that is good for stamina as well as improving libido and just rebalancing hormones. Nuts and seeds, they're great if you can soak them, and even better if you sprout them, if you're into that. The reason we would want to soak them is because it releases natural enzymes, so it's better for digestion. And especially Brazil nuts, which this is a tip I got from you, Janice, because they contain the recommended daily amount of selenium, which is specifically helpful for people with thyroid conditions.
But don't eat more than 2.
Correct. Thank you for pointing that out, because I definitely would have forgot this time. So then we also have hemp seeds, because they're a good source of essential fatty acids. So we want these things. Janice mentioned coconut milk and coconut oil, and there's also olives, olive oil, raw butter and ghee. And ghee, if you don't know of it, is essentially clarified butter. So they've taken out the stuff that's not healthy and they've left everything that is. Cultured foods like sauerkraut, kombucha, and then green tea or yerba mate. Yerba mate is a great option if you're trying to get off coffee, because it has a similar level of caffeine and it tastes a little bit like coffee, but it's got a lot more health benefits to it. Lentils and beans, miso, sprouts, bone broth, and quinoa. So these are all things that you can add into your diet that will help start to bring your hormones back in line. And then gut health. We can't even touch enough about this topic.
That would be a whole other webinar.
I agree, and we have one, so we'll have to do that next. Yeah. So, in order to have optimal hormonal balance, we need to have enough good bacterial flora in our gut. And one of the only ways you can do that in this day and age, given the fact that a lot of the food is denatured and we're not always eating the best anyways, is to add in a really good probiotic. So be mindful, read the ingredients, because some of them have fillers in them, which are not going to do anything to help your hormones. It probably actually make it worse. So some of the ones that we like to suggest are Garden of Life, Culturelle, Yakult, Jarrow, Dr. Mercole's Complete, Renew Life 50 Billion, and doTERRA PB Assist. And if you're not familiar with doTERRA, it's a certified therapeutic grade essential oil company. And they have a very good reputation for the products that they put out. And Janice and I use quite a few of them.
And liver health. This is a big subject for me since I have liver issues. But of all the organs, the liver is the star in the detoxification process. I like to think of it as our internal waste processing plant. The liver detoxifies by breaking down chemicals into inactive and less harmful forms so that they can be safely removed from the body. And now I'm going to talk about how you can, reduce the toxic load. You want to eat an organic whole foods diet whenever possible. Eat antibiotic and hormone-free meats, fish, and dairy. And I can't stress that enough because, when you eat animal products, you're eating what that animal ate. And sometimes these animals are injected with antibiotics and growth hormones. So you want to look for good quality, meats, fish, and dairy that are free of those, because that will definitely disrupt your endocrine system. And use a whole house water filtration system. And if you can't have a whole house system put in, at least put one in your kitchen for your sink and your ice maker and your drinking water in your kitchen. Because tap water, I totally stay away from it because of the fluoride and the chlorine that they add to those waters, which definitely disrupt your endocrine system. And among other health issues that it could cause. Use a high-quality air purifier in your home or office. Open the windows as often as possible. Maybe purchase a few green plants to put in your home throughout because they help purify the air as well. Avoid alcohol, caffeine, and smoking. Avoid plastics, particularly plastic wrap and plastic-lined cans. Now, what I did years ago, because I took a 6-month course on toxins and toxicity, what I learned was that a lot of the plastics that are used nowadays, especially the ones that we use to cover our food, our leftovers, or what have you, contain these chemicals that leach into our food, and we don't want that. So I immediately got rid of all of the plastic containers in my kitchen, and now I have glass storage containers that I put leftovers in. And you can purchase those on Amazon, Bed Bath & Beyond. I mean, there's so many different places where you can purchase those. So be on the lookout for that. And also for plastic, when you do purchase plastic wrap, make sure the box says BPA free because that's the chemical you want to avoid. A lot of the plastic cans, liners in the cans that we purchase, such as for beans and soups and things and whatnot, make sure that can says BPA free as well. Swap out your cleaning chemicals, Swap out chemical household cleaners, soaps, and antibacterial products for all natural brands. And both Kat and I we love doTERRA cleaning products because we feel very confident in the quality. We use their laundry detergent, the cleaning products for our kitchen, cleaning for our bathroom. It's just a pure product that we love using. Use chemical-free beauty and skincare products. Choose those without toxic preservatives and additives such as paraffins and artificial fragrances. Be aware of ingredient labels. Look at that and try to get the cleanest products you can because, beauty products, things that we put on our skin and our face, whatever you put on goes directly into your body and your bloodstream and all your organs within 60 seconds. Think about that. So you want to be more aware of the products you use because, that can affect your whole body and totally throw your endocrine system out of whack. Simple solution, cleanse your liver. I personally cleanse mine at least 4 times a year. So be aware of that because that's the workhorse of your body.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's time to get your learning on. We did send you, we emailed you 6 handouts And if you did not receive those, please get in touch with us, let us know, and we'll make sure you do get those. But those are tools that you can use on a day in and day out basis. So refer back to those, and because there are a lot of great tips in there to help you, a lot of food ideas, teas. I mean, there's so many different things. So please refer back to those. But we also want to talk to you about maybe taking it to the next level.
Exactly. And there's a lot of really good content, like Janice was saying, in those handouts. So start with that. If you're new to your journey, if you want to get some support and take it to the next level, then it's just never too early to start and never too late to make a choice to have the fullest and most satisfying life that you can live for yourself. So if you're ready for something that's a little bit more in depth, we do have something to offer. It's our upcoming thyroid recovery program, and we're really excited and proud of this program. It starts on September 24th, and it's a 30-day program where you're going to learn how to rebalance your hormones through food, dietary suggestions, and you'll get a lot of support in a private, like-minded online community. So we do run this from a shutdown, lockdown, private Facebook community group. And what's nice there is you get to see that other folks are going through something similar, and you're not the only one, and we can all learn to support each other. And Janice and I are both doing it, so we're going to be right in there with you. And if you sign up by September 20th, we do have an early bird special of $197, so you'll be saving $100. And it's well worth it. You'll see on our next screenshot that all the things that you're going to get with it. We also have another nice little early bird incentive that if you're one of the first 10 people to sign up, you'll receive the entire program in a beautiful spiral binder. And that is a smaller version, so it's not 8.5 by 11. It's this nice pocketbook size binder that has the entire base program in it, and this is what you'll be getting.
But now plus, not only would they get the binder, they also get the electronic version of everything as well.
Absolutely. So do you want to walk them through this piece?
Absolutely. As you can see how beautiful it is. We're so excited how pretty it is and functional everything is. But you'll receive 2 thyroid recovery guides, one that will be for week 1 and 2, and then the second one will be for week 2 and 3. You'll receive both recipe guides for both omnivore and vegetarian. So you can switch back and forth using those recipes. You'll get suggested meals for every single week for both varieties of omnivore and vegetarian, as well as a shopping list for every week. Food diary, which we strongly encourage everyone to keep a food diary. That's a key to helping you make sure you get the most out of it. And support. We're going to be there for you. You're going to be receiving daily support from both of us. 2 20-minute private health coaching sessions from the person you sign up for the program. Bonus content. We have 5 additional handouts to help balance your hormones as well. And I can't think of anything else. It's just there's just so much. We're thrilled. We can't wait.
Yeah.
We're excited about doing it with you.
Exactly. So we just want to thank you for your time. We appreciate that you were able to make some time for yourself, for your own self-care, and learn some of these things with us. And if you'd like to learn more, either about what we've presented, something in the handouts, or certainly the program, the thyroid program that we've got coming up, we'd love to talk to you. So we've got our names here, phone numbers, email address, and website. And there's a contact form on the website. So if you want to reach us through that, you're welcome to. And we just encourage you to continue to learn all that you can to make your life a happier and a better experience.
Right. We want to thank you again for joining us, and, reach out anytime. That's what we're here for.
All right. We hope to see you in the thyroid recovery program.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.